Greetings and salutations, fellow denizens of Middle-earth. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by the boy.
Hey!
This is a Two Nerds podcast. I'm going to run down all the shit you need to do to keep me happy. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to me on Twitch, follow me, be there, talk to me, go to our Discord, talk to us there, buy my books and read them and tell me how great you think they are, how much they suck, I don't care, just give me money, please. As you can do on Patreon, and then you'll be cool like Rob and a guy from Ohio.
There we go, alright. Today we're talking about the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
An interesting series of events that occurred. I have a friend...
In Middle-earth.
Fucking podcast's over! I quit forever!
So, this is another One Nerd podcast. I'm here to talk about Lord of the Rings. Nah, come back.
Coming back. Only I get to get the good jokes. You get the dumb jokes that are stupid.
Oh.
I played Monopoly every month with my girlfriend and my mom. Because they both love Monopoly. Independent of each other. And then we got together and it was like, oh, what a neat thing. So we draw Monopolies from a hat because we play a different one each time. For December, we drew Lord of the Rings. And I was like, well, what a great time to catch my girlfriend up on Lord of the Rings. She's never seen them. Which was an amazing opportunity for you because you got to DM for somebody
Who's never seen Lord of the Rings. My power. It knew no bounds.
So we sat down to watch these, and lo and behold, are you ready? Hold on to your Medicare, because it has been 20 years since these movies came out.
It just turned into a skeleton.
Real weight loss program. Find out how long it's been since The Lord of the Rings came out.
Yeah, we're talking about the movies here, not the books, because,
Well, I mean, if you are older and you want to feel like a fucking skeleton...
Well, mostly because we watched the movies, and, well, I mean, I'm not fucking reading The Lord of the Rings again. It's a good book series, but I'm not fucking reading that again.
I think I could get through the first two. I'd have to.
I think Return of the King would beat me. I'm gonna be honest. It's dry.
And then Pippin looked at some fucking architecture for a whole hour.
You know what my favorite part of Lord of the Rings was? My favorite part was when he described a cup for a long time. But the movies, even the extended editions, do a great job of distilling that into a digestible visual medium. We watched the theatrical editions because we were introducing someone new to this phenomenon, to this story, and we wanted them to like it. So we watched the ones that are of a reasonable length of time, not the ones that were made ridiculously too long to satisfy insatiable nerds.
That insatiable nerd being Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he was satiable. He was satiated just before he had to film Tom Bombadil.
You know, after all the rest of the Hobbit movies came out, I just wish he'd filmed Tom Bombadil and cut off the end of The Hobbit, the first Hobbit movie, sooner. Just so we didn't have to add some extra shit later. But anyway, we already did a podcast on that. We're here to talk about the original three movies.
Yep. If you're somehow not familiar and watching this channel, greetings from Mars. And
No comment. What was your impetus for fucking clicking on this video? Oh, that man got a tiny burger he's eating. What?
Look, big thumb enthusiasts, I'm sorry. That's not what this podcast is about.
Fucking Dan Avidan. Oh, someone like me. Click, click. Hey, Danny, we love you.
We do, but this is about nerd shit.
Also, Dan Avidan already knows Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he does.
He would have jangled in here in cosplay armor with a big star on it.
But we've gone 5 minutes without talking about Lord of the Rings in this Lord of the Rings podcast. It must stop. It must stop.
Yes. There's not like a point to this except to say, in long form, it holds up incredibly well.
by contrast, we recently rewatched Star Wars. Recently-ish, across the last couple years.
We did a podcast on it.
Rewatching all the Star Wars movies. And some of them came out pretty equidistantly with Lord of the Rings movies. And one series holds up a lot better. A lot better. Lord of the Rings movies just hold up. They're just still good.
I mean, the story was so good in the first place. You know, the way we digest books has changed somewhat. But,
it's just... It feels almost weird. That's why we keep stopping to describe what happens in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Like, what did happen to that mouse that ran up that clock? This is Bo Peep and her sheep. Tell me more.
It's so formative to both us as people and to nerd culture that describing what happened in Lord of the Rings seems absurd.
Well, you know, and to that point, like I said, we walked in here without a script. We usually do. At least we have intention. Our intention was broad today. Talk about the Lord of the Rings. Let's assume you've seen the Lord of the Rings. If you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings, it holds up. Go watch the fucking Lord of the Rings. It's available on HBO, whatever their fucking premium streaming
HBO
services.
fucking Zenith, whatever they're calling it now.
You can probably buy a DVD for $1 on Amazon, for that matter. DVDs are dead media now. Why do you like these movies? What stood out to you watching these movies again?
So, I'll go movie to movie.
Okay.
In Fellowship of the Ring, the thing that stood out to me most is how fucking astoundingly good all the performances still were.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all of the things in movie making that I find age well or poorly, acting specifically usually ages both the worst and the quickest.
Just because our sensibilities change over time.
And it's not that, you know, the performances obviously are different. That's not how time works. But the way they hit the ear, the way they hit the eye, the perception of them changes.
Well, and I can even give you a recent contrast that I ran across. I'm a big fan of the Munsters. We are excited for the Rob Zombie Munsters movie coming out.
How did you guys not know he was going to cast Sherry Moon? I mean, how are you surprised? But go ahead.
Yeah, don't be mad about that. Also, it's just fucking Lily Munster. Get over yourself. She's not Morticia Addams. She's not iconic. But we watched a clip from it with John Carradine, of all people, in it. And Herman Munster, while I still love him, not as funny or endearing in 2021. Not like in a, he's talking bad things about, marginalized people way. Just like this bit isn't as enjoyable.
The shine's off this apple. The juice is out of this rock.
Seinfeld is unfunny.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a trope.
Yeah, that's... I mean, also... No! Now's not the time for that. Perhaps another day.
I mean, are we gonna... Is that...
No! Another day.
Okay.
But that's not the case here. All of the performances are still really good. They all hold up really well. All of the jokes are still funny. Oh, he's making an I disagree face.
Liv Tyler's fine.
She does what she's here to do. She accomplishes what the story sets out for her to do.
Yes.
And that's good. It's just that she's not given a lot to work with.
Sure.
But, like, all the jokes are still funny. All of the, little Easter eggs and references for the people who have read the books, they still pop. They still go, I know that. They're still nice, good, Mick Foley-style cheap pops. And...
Mick Foley's kind of a hobbit.
I'd go dwarf. It's just very fuzzy.
Yeah, it's fair.
Most hobbits are clean-shaven.
That's true.
But... special shout out to poor dead Sean Bean. No, he's still alive, but it's a meme.
Well, that's the thing.
This is the thing that made the meme.
Sean Bean and memes. The delivery. I think we may have forgotten. I know I did in the innumerable number of image reactions.
He's like. So, Lord of the Rings came out in the formative meme era, so Sean Bean is like a bunch of really ancient internet memes.
But the big one, one does not just walk into Mordor. The delivery on that is so good. He's so
fucking exasperated.
You fucking idiots. This is the dumbest plan.
This is so stupid.
And I just forgot. I forgot after all these years that it's just that good.
And he plays a character that could easily be irredeemable. He doesn't do much wrong, but in the movie at least, he also doesn't do a whole lot, like, super right. And he has one big failing, the famous one. And so, but he plays him so fucking charismatically and with so much empathy that you get it. And you hurt. And notably, I may be over 30 now and I cry a lot easier, but that, man, when he calls Aragorn his king, that shit still hits like a truck.
I thought, foolishly, that maybe this would be the time when I watched The Fellowship of the Ring and didn't cry like a little kid reading Where the Red Fern Grows for the first time.
Nope.
Nope.
That shit happened. But I mean, he's just one of a bunch of command performances, and so I tried to really take in the movie as much as I could as if I was watching it for the first time, because it is so fucking, it is part of nerd firmament at this point, and it came out when I was like just getting into high school.
This was high school for me, which is why it feels like they came out way further apart than they did, because it was a movie a year. But, I was younger, and time moves differently when you're young. So it felt like they came out every 3 years or some shit.
But no.
No.
But actually, this one might have been before. When did this one come out?
Well, I can just scroll right up here. I want to say 2006. No, obviously it's 20 years. It was 2001.
So, no, I wouldn't have been in high school yet. It would have been middle school. Whoa, wow.
You made a cartoon catchphrase just now. Whoa, wow. What is this, a crossover episode?
Oh, fuck it, hold on. I'm trying to unskeletonize myself. But in Two Towers, the thing that stood out to me was how fucking good the pacing is on that movie.
Oh, it's so clean.
Like, because, alright, I usually, back in the day when I would watch these movies a bunch, I watched the extended editions, because I am the insatiable nerd. But no, on the theatrical cut, that movie's clean. That movie is razor tight. It is amazingly well paced. Return of the King less so. And the thing that stood out from Return of the King for me is I like the 9 endings. Okay, they're good. They get memed on so much. No, they're fun. They're good. They're satisfying in a way that, like, you can put the story to bed. There's no sequels. We're not going for anything after this. This is the end of the story. And I did count, and depending on what you count as an ending, there are either 6 or 7. I'm going with 6 because I'm a generous soul, and 6 endings is just about enough for that series.
3 per movie, that seems fair.
2 per movie. Math.
Yeah, 2. I'm leaving the podcast again!
What about you, sir? Come back and tell the nice folks. Sit your tookis down on the chair and tell the nice folks what stood out for you.
Why did I decide to do this bit on a day where my legs hurt? Jeez. I can still quote most of Fellowship, so that's a feather in my hat.
Word for word, man.
Yeah. Not now, but like in the scenes, and because now it's me. You fucking guys, you know me. You've been following this podcast.
Also, we wouldn't even if we could. The Guardians of the Galaxy podcast shall not be repeated.
No, I mean, like, if you asked me to quote a line from the movie, I would get it almost right.
Same. At this point in my life, my memory is not the steel trap it once was.
A wizard is never early or late. He hangs out and he does some stuff. Bilbo, I want to say.
He comes to the Shire to get high. He's not high when he gets there.
Yeah, it's... But at the same time, it still felt really new, you know? I noticed a lot of stuff in this watch through, all 3 of the films, that I hadn't noticed before. And, that's easy to do in such a deep, detailed movie, but it was fun. And just getting to see this story again. Like, out of all of them, I've seen Fellowship the most. I think this may be the second time I've seen Return of the King.
It's maybe the 5th or 6th time I've seen it. I watched these movies a lot.
I never got it for Christmas. Like, that was a present thing. I got Fellowship, the extended edition. Oh, how cool. I got Two Towers, the extended edition. Oh, how cool.
I see.
And I had Fellowship for a while, and at the time I was watching a lot of movie commentary, so...
Oh, man, the commentary. We didn't rewatch the commentary. I honestly might... Commentary on these movies is GOAT commentary. It is the standard by which all other film commentary is judged.
Unless it's Rob Zombie film commentary, which is just hilarious anecdotes about how he almost killed people. But I don't know what I can say about the Fellowship of the Ring that I took away from this, other than it's just still good. The emotional notes still hit the same. The acting is still really incredible. And it really is that refresher of those things that have become common, that we know and we hear all the time or we see all the time. It's really good. I still love the way Gandalf says, melon. Never not going to. Anytime in my life someone is talking about melons, in my head. Melon.
Sometimes out loud.
Sometimes out loud.
You say, melon.
Apparently, I didn't know that. Two Towers, I really... The stories, as an adult now, it was really cool to just experience those stories and feel a more emotional connection with a lot of the characters. I'm bad at names. Just scroll down here. The One Ring. Very...
who are you looking for, homie?
Who am I looking for? Am I looking for Denethor? Is that who I'm looking for?
Denethor, the Steward of Gondor?
That's a nonsense guy. That's Return of the King.
Yeah. Was
a nice guy. Fucking King Dad.
Theoden?
Theoden, thank you. If you'd asked me yesterday, I would have said Theoden, but now my brain is goo.
A hobbit is never weed, Frodo Baggins. He is only...
He'd been on that old Toby.
Quit bogarting the joint, Frodo.
Get me that long bottom leaf and go away.
Theoden, I felt like I got the arc when I was younger, but like as an adult who has cats, I feel it, It's always sad to bury a cat. You shouldn't have to do that. I should die first, so they can eat my cheeks.
Apparently they're delicious, cheeks.
So I've gone on a weird bit here, but like, honestly, the arc of the character... I feel more for him. I feel when he makes his mistakes and he gets all haughty and weird and he's like, no, we can do this. We cannot fucking do this. Give up. Everything is lost. Fuck it. Let's all die. And Aragorn's like, what if we just tried a little? Just what if we tried a little? Fine. Soup's back on. Let's kill everybody. I'm the best.
It's portrait of a grieving father.
He's just not in a good place, but he's making the best of it. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing, and I think I've seen... I expect more of the extended edition scenes in Two Towers for some reason. Because there's a bunch of stuff that I was like, oh, that's not in there? Okay.
That happened to me a couple times, too. More in Fellowship for me, where I go, wait, but... Alright.
And Return of the King, I would agree with the ending thing. When I saw it when I was a teenager, I had been sitting in a theater seat for 3.5 hours. My butt was tired.
I want to go!
And I already read the book.
Let me out! Let me out!
I knew what happened. So it's not like there were surprises coming, but watching it now, it just feels natural. And I was in my nice comfy couch. Like, it wasn't a big deal. The battles are still fresh, also.
Yeah, they're still
really
good.
Nice.
So then All right, so there is one thing that the internet memes on that legitimately is ridiculous. Everything Legolas does. He surfboards down a set of stairs on an Uruk-hai shield. Why, Peter Jackson? Why does he do that?
It is taking a nugget that is, again, one of my favorite details from The Lord of the Rings, something I have carried with me from being a little kid, and expanding on it. when they are all on the mountain and it's fucking blizzard season and everyone else is trudging through the cold, harsh snow, knee over knee. These poor hobbits are fucking neck deep in this shit. Legolas is walking on top of it because he's a fucking elf.
And because he's a fucking elf is the reason he does all of the rest of that wackadoo bullshit. Except kill one motherfucker. One determined fucking orc champion who had his torch and was going to the fucking Olympics come hell or high water.
Yeah. It was fun, though. It was fun and stupid, and all the little Gimli jokes, and that was all good
Gimli
fun stuff.
is the best comic relief. Like, I understand the people... He was a slightly more serious character in the books. I understand the people who get all butthurt. Like, why is he the comic relief? Because John Rhys Davies is hilarious, and he has a bunch of funny lines.
Who else is going to be the comic relief? Aragorn?
No.
What kind of jokes is he going to make?
What jokes is Legolas going to make? What kind weird fucking Dadaist elf jokes that don't land for 20 years? No.
Man, what if we rewatched it and it, like, Peter Jackson was so ahead of his time on, like, curtailing that dialogue, and it's like, whoa, this is, like, Xennial humor.
Like, he's just gonna... What if instead of, like, Nakadagathair, they're going to die, and being angry, he was like, they're gonna die! Let's do it also!
And then he dabs. While surfing down the shield, yeah! Let's hit briefly on criticisms, because I do have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, they're not perfect movies.
I don't think that the CGI for Gollum especially, but a lot of other small things in the world has held up as well as I would have liked.
For me, most of the Gollum stuff actually held up super well. It was fine. It was the non-Gollum CGI that I had a problem with.
Like, it was... There wasn't even consistency to the parts of, like, okay, Gollum looks bad when this is going on. It's just, he either does or he doesn't, and it's not really up to things. I guess when he would fall down, or when anybody who was made of CGI at the time would fall down, they interact with the floor like a Bethesda game at best.
Which, I mean, that was just them mocapping Andy Serkis.
Sure.
Like, that's that's the motions he made.
Oh, no, I meant more that, like, he's not quite on the ground.
Yeah,
You're given the impression of him being near the ground, but it's
lacks weight.
Yes. And part of that is the transition to the small screen. That's always been a problem, even at the time.
For me, the Balrog stands out as being amazing CGI.
Yes.
But there's some that doesn't hold up super well.
There's a point in Return of the King where there's a CGI, like, troll beating down the door, and then there's a field of, like, goblins and orcs and shit, and there's, like, one fucking goblin who looks like he like the default Blender cube.
Honestly, the trolls, not the cave troll, weirdly, in Fellowship, but the others, the
textures aren't great.
They're just big. They're big boogers. They're great big boogers. And a lot of the stuff with the elephants doesn't hold up amazingly well. And basically, anytime Legolas is a CGI model, he instantly becomes an Adventure Time character. I never don't notice.
Legolas, could you save the day? Yes, one moment. Let me dislocate my elbows and knees. Off I go.
Obviously, when he's sliding on the elephant and all that shit. But the one that really jarred me the most was there's this very, very quick scene in Two Towers where Gimli is like trying to ride a horse quickly to somewhere and not doing a great job. He rides up to Legolas, and Legolas, like, grabs the reins and, like, fucking double flip reverse Lindy hops himself into the saddle, completely unnecessarily weirdly backwards, and he looks so cartoonish, it just threw me all the way out of the movie. It took me like 3 minutes to get back into the movie.
Yeah, a lot of the animals, too, that were CGI were kind of like, not Shelob.
Shelob holds up real well.
Yeah,
Shelob looks terrifying.
Man, honestly, a lot of the scenes, a lot of the settings in Return of the King were way better than I remembered. Like, just amazing decorations and just designs. I was really blown away by that.
I will say there is a critique I have of the theatrical edition. I understand why they did it, but it is the one thing that I think, the one cut I think that was made for the theatrical edition that I feel is a bad cut. Because there's a bunch of them in there, even from the extended editions, that are fine. I like the extended editions, but you don't need it. But the movies are lesser without Saruman's death scene. They just are. That is not a cut you should have made. You should have found some time elsewhere. Maybe 2 fewer shots of Frodo staring forlornly into the distance. Maybe a little bit less time. Maybe cut some of the Rohan camp scene. I feel like there was a lot of extra fat there you could have fucking sliced off. But... Or you maybe make the movie a little longer. You're already long as fuck. It's fine. It's not that long a scene. But the movie's lesser without it. Significantly so.
I would like to comment on a couple of things that felt different this time. First of all, Frodo bearing the ring. The acting there. And even just the storytelling. You know, as a kid, I had never really, knowingly, been around anyone struggling with addiction. And you can see it so well done in everything Frodo is doing in like Two Towers and Return of the King. The further he slips.
And it's a great addiction metaphor.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Parallel. J.R.R. Tolkien's ghost will come fight me if I call something in one of his books a metaphor.
You know, he can come fight me so long as he brings Strunk and White and I can get a few hits in.
But it's a great parallel to addiction. And also, he does a really good job of, like, paralleling Gollum.
Yes.
Like, the further he gets, but not in, like, an over-the-top, on-the-nose way. It's not a parody. It's not a impression. It's a parallel. And Elijah Wood does great work with it. And, I mean, the directing and editing also must do great work there, because Lord knows there's 30 hours of Elijah Wood fucking petting that ring on the cutting room floor, I'm sure. But
there's a hell of a YouTube video. We don't need the Yule log crackling in the fire anymore. Here's 30 hours of Elijah Wood petting a ring that we didn't use in the movie.
But yeah, he does a really nuanced job of it too.
Another thing that unexpectedly feels because of personal life matters, but man, Bilbo's dementia at the end of Return of the King. Woof. What a great job in like 3 lines. And his body posture and the way he is drawn toward things and his facial expressions. Good Lord, is that accurate.
Yeah, that was done by a motherfucker who's seen someone with dementia.
Like, just...
That's not a performance you get on theory crafting.
Painfully impressive. I mean... Little claps.
Kudos.
Something else I would criticize about the film, and that would become worse in the Hobbit movies, is the some of the CG... how's the best way to put this? The vignette style, like, dream sequences and, like, the ring is coming at me shit. Some of them were a little...
The Palantir scene.
The Palantir, sure.
Was a little, like, did we need the fucking Adobe After Effects fire circle on it that, like, badly interacts with the actor's hands and is, like, weirdly superimposed over them? I feel like just the thing being on fire was enough. I didn't feel like it needed the little PacSun halo around it.
It was a little weird. Like, and this is maybe just a Peter Jackson thing because he's done it in the future with better tech. I don't like it stylistically. And it's something that I forgot was in these movies. Like, that was a thing.
Oh, yeah, like, that's the reason I'm not mad at that shit in the Hobbit movies, because, look, Eye of Sauron comes at you menacingly is like a third of, it feels also, like, of Fellowship.
I see you. Was never good.
No, wrong. It was good. It isn't now.
I think maybe the first time it happens is fine, but then they do it like 4 more times and like
Why is he a goober?
It makes Sauron seem like a wiener.
Why is he doing? Because like the first time, it's him like it's big, it's menacing, it has that big gravelly voice. It's there's fire everywhere and smoke and everything's scary. The second time he does it, it's Sauron doing a bit, like because it's the same thing said the same way, and unless that's his fucking voicemail.
You have reached Dark Lord Sauron. Please leave your name and the location of the One Ring of Power, and I will get back to you. I will get back to you as soon as I can. How do I turn this thing up?
It's him doing a bit. Like when he sees someone, he makes a point to go, "I see you." Like he thought of that pun, and he's just fucking running with it for the rest of the time.
I just don't know that Sauron needs to be zealous Freddy Krueger.
He doesn't call anyone a bitch.
What if he did?
Just once, Gandalf.
I see you, Pippin, you bitch.
I see you, Pippin, you tiny bitch. Come fight me, bro.
Also, fucking, I don't remember if this was in the books, but I love how fucking stupid Sauron is. And his minions. Is that a hobbit? Hey, he's probably got the ring. Nobody checks.
There's gotta be, there can't be more than one of those.
Yeah. I mean, and I get like they live all the way on the other side of the fucking country. No one's really ever heard of them before.
And, like, what are the chances, honestly, what are the chances that the fucking angel you're fighting, Gandalf the fucking recently resurrected, has more than one of them little fuckers on hand?
Gandalf, what's your plan for the ring? We'll play a shell game.
And, again, in Sauron's view, what are the chances that they don't have the ring bearer with them?
Sure.
Because Sauron can't conceive of someone not keeping the ring on hand if it was available. What? They just let him fucking walk away by himself with his fucking gardener? No, bullshit. It's the one with Gandalf. It's a double bluff. That guy's nobody. That's the one with Gandalf. I know that asshole. He did it.
He's getting pretty close. Pretty sure it's Gandalf.
That's fake. 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 I know Gandalf.
This is a decoy.
This is his bullshit. He's back on his bullshit. I know this asshole. It's the one with him. Gandalf. You bet it. Meanwhile, Gandalf. God damn it, Pippin, you moron.
Good touching shit.
I'm going to touch it. I'm going to. And I'm not sorry.
That is fair. I did bring you along.
But these movies are fucking great. They're nerd firmament for a reason. They hold up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I came back to the podcast to finish discussing these wonderful films. And I 100% thoroughly encourage you guys, if you've never seen them before, certainly, and if you haven't watched them in a while, what a great time to do so.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.